Natural sweeteners such as honey, agave syrup, maple syrup, and coconut sugar are often perceived as healthier alternatives to refined white sugar, but this perception can be dangerously misleading when it comes to liver health. While these sweeteners contain trace nutrients, antioxidants, or bioactive compounds that provide marginal benefits compared to refined sugar, they are still concentrated sources of sugars, particularly fructose, which is directly metabolized by the liver. Excessive consumption of these natural sugars can overwhelm hepatic metabolic pathways, leading to triglyceride accumulation, oxidative stress, inflammation, and ultimately increasing the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NEFLD, in ways remarkably similar to refined sugar or high fructose corn syrup. The problem lies in the liver's handling of fructose. Unlike glucose, which is metabolized broadly across tissues, fructose is primarily processed in hepatocytes. When the liver receives more fructose than it can immediately use for energy or glycogen synthesis, it converts the excess into triglycerides through a process known as de novo lipogenesis. Repeated exposure to high fructose sweeteners, whether honey, agave, or syrups, leads to hepatic fat accumulation, increasing oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, and low-grade inflammation. Over time, this silent accumulation of fat can progress from simple steatosis to more severe liver damage, including steatohepatitis and fibrosis, particularly when combined with other metabolic stressors such as refined carbohydrate intake, sedentary behavior, or obesity. Honey and agave syrup are particularly concerning because of their high fructose to glucose ratios. Agave syrup, for instance, can contain up to 70 to 90% fructose, far exceeding the ratio found in table sugar or even high fructose corn syrup. This high fructose load accelerates hepatic triglyceride synthesis and fat deposition. Even honey, which contains roughly 40% fructose, delivers a concentrated sugar dose in small volumes, especially when used liberally in beverages, baked goods, or on cereals. The body perceives these natural sweeteners as calorically dense, and repeated intake can lead to cumulative hepatic stress comparable to that caused by sodas, sweetened smoothies, or sugary desserts. The perceived health halo of natural sweeteners can exacerbate the problem. Many people assume that because honey or agave syrup is organic, raw, or plant-based, it is metabolically safe. This assumption often leads to overconsumption, negating the modest antioxidant benefits these sweeteners provide. Unlike whole fruits, which contain fiber, vitamins, and polyphenol that slow sugar absorption and reduce hepatic fat deposition, concentrated natural sweeteners deliver rapidly absorbable sugars with no meaningful fiber content. The liver is forced to manage repeated fructose surges, which can trigger insulin resistance, triglyceride synthesis, and low-grade inflammatory signaling. Children, adolescents, and individuals attempting natural or clean diets are particularly vulnerable. Sweetened beverages, granola, cereals, or snacks that use honey or agave as the primary sweetener may deliver sugar doses equivalent to sodas, often consumed multiple times per day. Early and frequent exposure to high fructose natural sweeteners can promote early hepatic fat deposition, insulin resistance, and metabolic programming that favors long-term NAFLD risk. Silent progression is common. The liver can accumulate fat and oxidative stress over years before clinical symptoms or elevated liver enzymes are detected. Even in moderation, natural sweeteners should be approached with caution. The body's response to fructose is dose-dependent, and while small amounts occasionally used in tea, yogurt, or baking may be tolerable, habitual or excessive use can produce cumulative metabolic stress equivalent to that from refined sugar. From a liver protective perspective, the safest approach is to prioritize whole fruits, vegetables, and minimally processed foods for sweetness, which provide fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that modulate sugar absorption and reduce hepatic fat accumulation. In conclusion, honey, agave syrup, and other natural sweeteners are not inherently safe for the liver. Despite marketing claims and perceived health benefits, their high fructose content places a similar burden on hepatocytes as refined sugars, promoting triglyceride accumulation, oxidative stress, and low-grade inflammation. Habitual or excessive consumption can silently drive NAFLD, insulin resistance, and broader metabolic dysfunction. For individuals concerned with liver health, moderation is essential, and relying on natural sweeteners as a substitute for refined sugar without considering quantity is a risky strategy. Awareness, restraint, and prioritizing whole, Fiber-rich foods remain the most effective approach to protect the liver from hidden dietary threats.